Hey everybody, welcome back to another exciting episode of NC-17. My name is Josh, and today we have director extraordinaire. We got Sean Q. King. How are you doing today?
I'm great, Josh. How about you?
Another day in paradise, my friend.
Thank you so much for having me.
I, it's an honor to have you on. I've we're definitely going to get to Screamwalkers because that was like a fantastic movie.
Ah, thank
But
you.
before we get into the films and stuff like that, if you can take us kind of like a journey from childhood to now and what really got you into the love of movies and stuff like that.
The love of movies started so early, um, in the late '70s, I guess you can say. There's some movie experiences that I was too young to remember, but sometimes I get a little kind of like glimpse of what it was. Like the earliest memories I have of seeing movies, like well, my parents split up while I was very young, so my mom had custody of my brother and I, my older brother, but I would go to my dad's house on weekends. And my dad's system was we watched TV on Friday night. You know, we watched like the Incredible Hulk and Wonder Woman on Friday night. Um, Saturday we would go to the movies, and then he would take us to Toys R Us and we'd get a toy. Now, dad, '70s, '80s dads, they didn't, the movies were crazy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we're all fans of '80s movies. If you're not, do your research. Um, so dad didn't really, he didn't really look too much into the movies that we wanted to see, my brother and I. So if it had an alien in it, if it had a barbarian in it, if it had, if it was a Conan ripoff, if it had a monster, we were there, we were seeing it. And back then in the '70s and '80s, it was like every weekend there was something crazy. So my earliest memories are at the drive-in seeing like Jaws. I was there, but I was, no, and I didn't see Jaws. I was born when Jaws came out. Star Wars, all the Star Wars movies, like the King Kong movie from '76. I actually remember like Flash Gordon. These movies were like the first ones that I saw. Um, it didn't really click until like the love of everything didn't really click until uh, video stores came out. Like theaters were still doing their thing, but video came in early '80s. So it was going to the movies and then at night getting a video. So again, my dad wasn't paying attention. We were renting, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. We were renting Monster Dog. We were renting Faces of Death, like whatever. Didn't matter. But the one movie he shut off was The Evil Dead, right? And it was the Vine scene, with Cheryl. So I mean, that was the one thing that really bothered him. So he shut that off, and then I was like, wow, that was too much for dad. Um, I got to see the rest of it. And then like a year or two later, Evil Dead 2 came out. So I finished watching Evil Dead 1 well before that. But something was different about the Evil Dead. It was it was so ultra low budget. I hadn't seen anything like that. They left mistakes in the movie, technical mistakes. That even I could pick these out even by watching like the crappy VHS tape. I saw, there was a matte line around a moon that was superimposed in the shot. I mean, now with 4K, Blu-rays, you can see all that stuff and it's glorious. And I hate it when they fix that stuff. It sucks when they fix it. But there was like uh, a monster got shot and her cheek blew out, and you saw the tube of blood squirting out of her cheek. And then I was like, oh man, wow, that's like there's a tube there. Somebody's pumping blood through that thing. So your mind starts to connect like that's somebody's job pumping that blood out of there. Then you're thinking, well, they're actors, so there's got to be a boss here who's the boss of this, who's telling the actors what to do, who's working the camera. So your mind just starts to run wild if you care about that type of thing. If you're a weirdo and you care about that, little kids, see their sports hero, their football hero, and then they start to imagine, oh my God, what is it like to be that person? For some reason, it was movies. Maybe it was because I saw Flash Gordon and King Kong and the Death Stalker in theaters. I don't know, but that was the education. But the Evil Dead was the one that got the kind of computer going, and then Evil Dead 2, which is my favorite movie of all time. That's the one that just really was like, I just want to do that. I'm so jealous that somebody did that. I want to do that. So Evil Dead.
Oh, yeah. Actually, so I'm from Michigan, so
Oh, okay. There you go.
there's moments where it's like everyone's like, "Hey, we should go to where they filmed this," and I'm like, "That's far from where I live. I'm okay."
Yeah, yeah.
But
I think there was a Tennessee for the first one. It was Tennessee, wasn't it? Yeah.
yeah,
But I
yeah,
mean, they shot a lot of movies in Michigan and Detroit. Yeah.
yeah. But funny thing is last year, was it last year? Yeah, last year or the year before that, they were all here. All the ladies from the original Evil Dead, Bruce Campbell, and then some of the people from the TV show. They were all here at a convention that I attend every year.
Nice.
And so I went up and was like, so when they were putting you guys in all that prosthetics and everything like that, what was the one thing that you guys like, the one thing you loved and the one thing you hated? They all unanimously said that they loved the ending, how it all came out, but they all hated the process of how it all got on. So,
Oh yeah, yeah. No, it sounded like a total nightmare. I mean, I've done my research with the Evil Dead, but there's this great book called The Evil Dead Companion, and it's all about the process of shooting that movie, and it sounded horrible,
oh
absolutely
yeah,
horrible. But when you're 19, 20, which most of them were 21 years old,
oh yeah,
that's how you learn. Oh my God, this sucks. Oh my God, this is a better way to do this. But I tell you, probably because it came out so good because it was probably so grueling.
oh yeah,
Like that brings something out of you. It brings that creativity out when then that's probably true with so many low and micro budget movies. I mean, that's where we go for, like, that's where we look for real creativity now, and ingenuity and new ideas, because Hollywood, that they're not in that business anymore. They're into recycling ideas and giving you superhero after superhero and CGI fight and this and that. So thank God the indies, there's a lot of them, but thank God they're kind of taking over. They've taken over the genre. Hollywood still, the studios still do good ones once in a while, but indies is where it's at.
oh yeah. Uh, it it's funny you say that because I don't know how many of the interviews you've seen, but I say it quite often that Hollywood's always out to make a buck. I mean, we all want to make money in what we do. That's a living. I mean, that's a given. But the independent scene, and since you're a main director in the independent scene, and correct me if I'm wrong, you guys do it more for the passion and the love of the art.
Yeah, oh yeah, because there is no money. No, you just lose money. But I see it this way. It's like, if you got a good day job, um, I mean, I do like corporate and commercial films. Like, I'll do commercials and then documentaries for like companies and corporations and stuff. But it's a lot of talking head interviews and B-roll and kind of these people walking on a beach or hiking up a mountain and stuff like that. It's a great job, but there's very little room to be creative. But what it does do is it kind of gives you the funds and the opportunity and the time to go do your stupid movie. If you want to make a stupid movie like I did, it's like, we can go do that anytime. I'm just like, I can't come to work for the next month. I'm making a movie. So it's kind of like, the way I see it is, some people buy a boat, some people buy a sports car, a motorcycle, they go to Vegas, they blow their $10,000, $20,000 doing that. But I'm like, if we got 20 grand, like, I'm not going to blow it just because, like, of stories. I want something to show for it. I want my friends to be involved in it. The stories are going to come out of it, definitely, but at the end we're going to have this amazing thing that we all share, and it's going to go on and live well after us. I mean, your fucking boat isn't going to, can I curse on this?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, your boat, your motorcycle, that's gonna go into garbage eventually. The movie will not. The movie, and if it's a good one, it'll live on, and people will kind of rediscover it year after year, hopefully.
Oh yeah. So speaking of the movies, and you're kind of the genre you love is horror.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Making horror. I like to watch. I like to watch trash exploitation, but I want to make horror movies. I don't want to make trash exploitation, but that's my preferred genre to watch. But it's I've always loved horror. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
and yeah, those are the kinds of movies that I want to make. They're just the most fun to make.
Oh yeah. So let's kind of go to your first project you ever worked on. I don't know if it was one you directed or one you were just involved with. But just being on set for the first time, what was your initial feeling when you got there, the moment you got there?
Yeah, yeah. Aside from kind of finding the camcorder in the closet when I was 12 years old, like a lot of us do. Well, not camcorders now, but when you get your iPhone when you're 13 years old, whatever, however you do it now, you start to tinker with it and you start to call your friends over. Yo, let's make a movie. Like that's what we did with the camcorders. So aside from that, and that kind of starts, simple, and then it gets, it could get more complicated, if you let it get more complicated. But the first time I was on a real set, I live on Long Island, New York. Um, and there's like when I was younger, I didn't go to Manhattan or Brooklyn or Queens where productions were happening. I was still in high school, but sometimes there would be a production that happened here on Long Island, like independent movies. This is the very early '90s. I'm talking when I was still in high school, but um, I had another friend or two who was interested in doing this too. So I would go to the bookstore and I'd find this thing called the Ross Report, which was kind of like was a book that showed you the listings of all the productions happening where,
Yeah.
and they give you a phone number, and you can call and get in touch with the producers. So I did this a few times. Got to I was a junior or senior in high school. Got there at 7:30 in the morning. My friend jumped in my car and we would drive to the set to PA, a local movie set, right?
Yeah.
Um, so this was the first introduction, and I was just taking notes, mentally taking notes. I never saw a gaffer before. I never saw a cinematographer. I never saw these people in real life. So I just studied everything they did, and I learned about. Oh, I see. They're getting another camera angle here. They already got that one. Now they're getting this person, and that's how they cut it together. Okay, cool. So if you're inclined to like study this kind of thing, which I didn't, I studied by doing it. I didn't go to film school. I would just cut high school and go to these sets and work for free. That was my film school. Was high school, dropping out of not dropping out of high school, but cutting
Yeah.
class and going working on these sets. So that was the education, and then that turns into like you PA on a few of those, and then those same producers say, hey, PA for us, but you're going to get paid this time. And then you start to figure out what department you want to be in. It's kind of like on the job training. Oh, cool. I like the camera work. I'm going to go do camera stuff. I want to be an actor, so I'm going to pursue that part. But just being on that set and meeting those people and hanging out with the actors, and they were so cool, and you just kind of wanted to be everybody on those sets. And then that just kind of snowballs when you make your own movie, and then you get your people involved, and then you take what you learned on that set and put it onto yours. Yeah,
All
so
right.
it's part of that thing. If you want to learn about that thing, there's so much to learn about filmmaking. Like
Uh,
the best will never learn it all. They just will never do it.
all right. But being in different like areas of the movie business. You've had your hand in, you're pretty much a jack of all trades. You've produced, directed, acted, all that stuff. Would you say there's one thing, like one, was it, whether it be directing, acting, producing, whichever, that is like more difficult to kind of get into than the rest, or was it all just trial and error?
Uh, oh, probably. I mean, no, everything is kind of equally as hard. I mean, if you mean like departments, I mean, acting is incredibly hard, obviously. Um, but directing is too. But the thing is that you have to, with this and a lot of other kind of careers that are passions, you have to make your own opportunities, because if you're going to get an opportunity, it's not going to be a great one, because there's so many people above you, and you don't know how they started and how they came up. So many of my early projects were, you know, me and my friends and my partners and my creative team making our own opportunities. And then it was like, this is going back to the 90s, like I said, and then into the 2000s, where it became easier because you can have a website, But back before that, it was film festivals. It was I had a do you know what cable access, public access TV is? Yeah,
Yep.
okay. So if you've seen Wayne's World, that's going way back. so so my friends and I, we had a like a sketch comedy show on in New York and Long Island, and we would go to like the local cable station and hand them VHS tapes, sign up for a time slot on this cable access. It's a channel on TV. They used to have it where it was just open for anybody to use, public use TV.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh man, this is great. This is like our own kind of TV station. This is our own channel. So we would sign up for multiple time slots, and we would make stupid movies and comedy sketches and stuff, and just kind of, we did that for like ridiculous amount, like 7 years.
Yeah.
And we were all in Long Island, and then we were Brooklyn and Queens and Manhattan and stuff. So uh but the thing is, it's like everything, like you said, like what's the like where are the opportunities, or how do you get the opportunity? You just persevere, just like now, you just can't stop doing it. You got to keep doing it, keep doing something new, keep doing it. It's easier said than done. But back then, like we built a following just because we would go to those cable stations and give them our tapes, and write down like, we want Saturday night at 11:30. So we got like the stoner audience back in like the late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
And then we did the same thing with this show called The Gooligans too, which is a horror comedy show. So
Yeah.
we did that for 10 years. And then we would not just put it on cable access. We would go to horror conventions and dress up as our characters. We were these very colorful kind of 70s cartoony looking kind of monsters. And then we would play our parts, and we would talk to, we'd scare children and talk to people and do jokes and comedy live. So it was like a grind that never stopped. And but that's what it takes. Like, you just can't stop. You just got to keep doing it. YouTubers will tell you the same thing. It's just, constant engagement, constant contact with people.
Yeah. So I get what you're saying, because this show, I've been doing the show for 2 years, and it kind of started picking up kind of this year,
Well,
you
you're
know?
busy. I mean, you got look. I mean, you have how many things? How many of these are you doing a day? I mean, my God, your announcements are crazy.
In a day, I think the most I had in a day was like five.
God, well, there you go. That's the hustle.
Oh
That's the
yeah.
grind. That's great.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, let's get into the meat and potatoes. I gotta talk to you about Screamwalkers.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah.
This movie, now, it, I rate all my movies 1 to 10. You know, 10 being best, one being worst. Very seldomly do I get a movie that reaches anything past an 8. You know,
Okay.
this one, acting was good. I love the effects. I love, like, just everything that happened in this movie was kind of like, okay, I was waiting for this one. I mean, the eye thing, I didn't see that coming, but
That's
No
a good
pun
pun.
intended. But
Unintended.
but it was. I give it a 10.
Wow, man. Thank you. Wow.
You
I'm gonna put that on the next poster. Boom.
know. uh,
NC-17 gives it a 10. 10 out of 10. Thank you. That's amazing. I
oh,
give it a 10 too. I had so much fun doing it. Yeah, yeah.
oh yeah. Kind of walk us into the process of like you coming up with it, the characters, and that twist at the end. Some may have seen it coming, but some may not have. I
Yeah.
mean, like I saw one, but not the other. If you get what I'm saying.
Yeah. I'm shocked at that because I'm like, there's no one else alive. Who else would it be? I'm always looking around. I'm like, well, I guess the two well, we kind of, without spoilers. Well, there's spoilers. It's look, we love Scream. All right. I see your figure back there, and it's like, that was the, you see, I lived through the time where it was, 70s, 80s, and then kind of late 80s, it started to, it was done. It was dying.
Oh
I mean,
yeah.
they beat these franchises into the ground,
Mm-hmm.
they kind of, Jason became, a freaking cyborg, and, body jumping worm, and then Freddy was just, oh, Freddy's just the boogeyman. He's a figment of your fear or something like that. It's like, cool, but like, I know they had to like adapt to keep the franchises going, but they just killed them. But I was always fascinated after that kind of post kind of like golden era of like modern horror. There was like, they would try to start new franchises, right?
Oh
I
yeah.
call them franchise non-starters. Movies like Dr. Giggles and um, what's another? Oh, Brain Scan. So they would make these movies with these new characters, these new slasher characters, or these horror icons that I guess they were hoping that Shocker is one of my favorite ones. That was clearly a franchise non-starter. I mean, it was clearly like Wes Craven being like, well, I got fucked out of Freddy. I'm going to start my own guy here. Didn't work for most people. I think it's hilarious. I love it.
You can't go
Um,
wrong with Horace Pinker.
I love him. I love that actor. I love that character. I wanted another franchise, but I mean, I
Oh
could
yeah.
see how people are like, no, oh God, no, Shocker, hell no. But Wes Craven did it again. I mean, he did it the third time. You could say he started the shit with Last House and Hills Have Eyes. He was right there in the beginning of that stuff, and then he did it again in '84, and then he comes back in '96 with Scream, and then that began another age of franchisey kind of things. So Screamwalkers started with this right here, this guy right here. I guess you can call it a Screamwalker, but it's officially called the Copycat Killer now. Um, but it started with this, and I didn't create this. My partner Will Pentarich created this. Um, my partner Will does these kind of interactive horror experiences out here in New York, and they're kind of walk through horror trails and haunted houses and things. And one year he didn't want to like a ghost face, or he didn't want a leather face, or a pinhead. He kind of, he didn't want the Freddy, so he like a scary Terry type. He wanted like the knockoff characters, partially because he didn't want to kind of get in trouble with any copyrights, and second of all, the knockoff characters were just fun. So he created this copycat killer. So his excuse for this was obviously, I'm not going to say the word, but there's a
Yeah.
one-word title of a franchise, very popular one that this takes a little bit from. It's not Ghostface. I'm obligated to say it's not a Ghostface. So he mixed this with another movie called Sleepwalkers.
Yep.
Okay, see so you're in the know. A lot of people are like, "What's that?" I'm like, "Oh, you got to see Sleepwalkers, man."
Oh yeah.
Mick Garris directs a Stephen King script and cat creatures, and fantastic movie.
Oh yeah.
But for some reason, he kind of crossed them over and kind of mashed them together and created the Copycat Killer. So I looked at the character and I was like, there's something more there than just a mask. And then I had this kind of cynical notion of like I bet you can make a movie that doesn't even have to be good. It could be okay, whatever. But if it has a cool mask, like somebody's going to want to watch it, right? So
Yeah.
it's kind of it's a cynical view of horror, but I guess I was just grumpy when I thought of it. But then the more I thought of it, I'm like, no, it's not just a mask. Like there's a story here. Hold on. And then I just started to think about it, and Will and I would hit back notes. And then I got my other friend, Bob Heckman. I think he's going to be a future guest.
Yep.
Another movie fan, and we're all friends and neighbors, and we all hang out together and watch movies. And so we were kind of bouncing ideas back and forth. And then I was like, we can do this. We got to do it with no money. We don't have a crew, but this kind of thing, like if we lean into like the low, no budget, micro budget horror thing, I think we can make something that stands out a little bit. But right around this was from 2001. This was created. This is like the version 2. There's 3 versions. This is the middle version, and this is actually going to be released in stores later this year for Halloween.
I'm buying one.
Yeah. You're gonna be able to see this. It's from the same company that makes the Ghostface mask, Fun World.
Oh yeah.
So we made the movie and we made the mask, and then we were kind of like, shit, is Fun World the copyright owner of Ghostface? Like, are they going to be mad at us if they find out we did this? And they're a Long Island company too, so their headquarters is like a half an hour away from where I live, closer to Manhattan, right? So we were like, well, we'll just ask them, right? Like, we'll show them the picture of this, we'll send them the movie, and we'll say, hey, we did this thing, is this, I know it's weird, but are you gonna have a problem with this? So RJ Torbert at Fun World, he's the guy who kind of made Ghostface. He called Ghostface, named Ghostface, and he's the guy who goes, he's now on the Scream set, being Ghostface's dad. So RJ Torbert, he's like, well, it's a gray area. And then he's like, change a few things, like we had a title design that was a little too close to the other franchise. And he's like, change this and that, but it's cool. And we're actually thinking about doing something similar. So we'll just work with you and put this out. And we were like, you're not suing us? Like, you're going to actually put this out? Like, this is a joke. And he's like, no, it's cool. And so we're working with them. So they have the copyright of the Copycat Killer, and they're putting it out. It's going to be in Spirit Halloween and, Party City or Halloween City. And it'll be another kind of, it's not a ghost face, but it'll be right there with it. So, which is incredible.
Oh yeah.
And that happened before the movie even came out. But going back to 2000, I'm sorry, man, I ramble.
You're good.
All right. I don't know if there's a time limit here.
We got about 15 minutes left, but you're
okay,
good.
All right, I'll wrap it up. We got to get to Screamwalkers. But in 2001, there was no 2000. There was no work. No, 2020. Jesus, what are we? 2021. That's what I meant. I've been saying 2001 the whole time.
Couple times.
Oh Jesus, great. Okay, yeah, that's what happens at my age. All right. But 2020, COVID happened. There was no work, so a friend of mine, Frank Sabatelli, he's another director. He made a movie called The Shed, which is on Shudder. You got to see The Shed. Good, awesome vampire movie. Yeah. So Frank and I, we love this movie called Boarding House. Right.
Mm-hmm.
This is from 1981. I'm getting my years right now. 1981, Boarding House. One of the weirdest movies ever made. Shot on video from 1981. First ever horror movie shot on video and released into theaters on film. So my friend Frank and I, we love that movie. We bought the rights to it. We put this out through Agfa Bleeding Skull. We distributed this with them. And then I just fell in love with the shot on video thing, the SOV thing. And this is this is the proto SOV movie right here, Boarding House. Some people are going to fight back and, say it's Sledgehammer. It's not. It's Boarding House. So and their logic was like, and all of those SOV producers from the 80s and 90s did the same thing. They were like, well, we don't have the money for film, we don't have the money for this and that, but we have a camcorder, we got a couple of lights, we have friends and family willing to help us out. So Screamwalkers was designed to be that. It was designed to be shot on home video, with this mask that we, had approval for after the fact. Thank God. Thank Fun World and RJ Torbert. So we slapped it together. We raised about $8,000, shot it for 12 in late 2023, and it came out like a year ago. Started the sneak preview a year ago, and yeah, man, it's fun. It's 65 minutes. It's in and out. It doesn't waste any time. It gives you a few twists and turns and gory slasher moments and a couple of creature moments and stuff. So we just kind of threw everything at it. And since it was such a low budget movie, we were like, like, why not have a cat creature in it? Why not? Do you want a mummy in here? Yeah, we got ancient Egyptian themes. Put a mummy in there, like. And then we kind of DIY most of the gore effects and stupid, cloud effects and shit. I did that in my garage with a fish tank and stuff. So it was all just like, hey, what do you want to do today? It was all an exercise of like how I started making these back in the 80s when I found that camcorder. Because making all these like these commercials and documentaries and corporate things, it's a great job, but there's no room to be creative. Nah. So I was like, can I still have fun making movies? Can I still kind of, can I still find that spark to be creative and fun? So Screamwalkers is the result of that kind of experiment.
Oh yeah. I'm just gonna say my favorite scene out the whole film is what happens with her best friend.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I don't want to spoil anything, so I'm not gonna say exactly what.
You mean knitting? But, the girl knitting?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Because like my wife don't watch horror movies, but she came in right on that moment, and I was like, "Look, you're not gonna want to miss this," and because I knew something was gonna happen. And she's like, "I don't like eye stuff." I was like, "Yeah, I didn't know that was gonna happen."
Yeah, there's like two main triggers that I noticed. It's eye stuff, and then it's like fingernail stuff.
Oh yeah.
Like if somebody's getting a fingernail peeled back, like 99% of people are gonna be like, nope. And the eye thing, forget it. Like those are the two things.
Oh yeah.
That are just like that, And I'm like, yeah, this is gonna work. Anything with an eye poking thing is gonna work. So.
Oh yeah. You kind of broke the barrier a little bit with this movie too, because the tropes in horror are don't have sex or you die, don't do this or you die. I don't want to spoil anything, but the like CJ's character, when you find out everything,
yeah,
I'm like, that barrier I don't think has ever been broken, and you broke it in such a subtle way. It was like, what the hell okay, I'm as a horror fan.
With the reveal of this, as the story kind of unfolds as you go, and little information is revealed as it goes along. And I know Scream kind of laid the rules out very clearly, but I mean this is a movie that doesn't play by the rules. It makes its own rules, or it just says what rules. And it doesn't have any rules basically. I think if we get to do more, there's so much more story there that I have, and maybe that stuff will be better served down the line. But yeah, for this one, it was just kind of, hey, what do you want to do? We'll just do this. Hey, you want to cut her in half? We'll cut her in half. What the hell, And it was just like running to the kitchen to get to make blood real quick and go do it. It was that much fun. Yeah.
Oh yeah. But I also, we got a couple minutes left. I also like how you had the character, the main villain, kind of like be a little bit playish at times, like the ball of yarn on the floor.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
That's I was like,
yeah. Yeah. I mean, because it was like, the logic is like, okay, I'll just say it. A girl gets needles, like wooden sewing needles stuck in her eyes. Yeah. So we have the ball of yarn there. So I like comedy. I mean, I can, I spend a lot of time coming up with gags. I'm telling myself jokes. I'm cracking myself up. I'm the only one who laughs at these things, by the way. So, it was just like, yeah, well, naturally it would be that, and then there was like other cat gags kind of planned, and then there's the whole detective scene where they all kind of come up with their own cat pun and stuff. And it's like some of those moments go a little kind of too far into comedy. So it was always a thing of like, all right, I look, this could very quickly become like a slapstick comedy, but we gotta,
Oh yeah.
we gotta get control of ourselves here.
Oh yeah. Uh, Also another thing, I don't like. I've seen the movie a couple times now. So the scene where the detective is on the street and you keep seeing the villain just like here and there.
Yeah, yeah.
The villain ducks behind a tree and just disappears. I was like, that is awesome.
Well, yeah, that was like, yeah, we were just like, like Will, my partner, played the copycat killer most of the time, and yeah, we were just like right out front of my house and running around and getting those shots, and I was just like, oh, come on, we got to do this. We got to have it just disappear behind a tree like a cartoon or something like that. And, but if it's inside like a scene that's actually kind of taking itself semi-serious, it's absurd and you might chuckle. So I'm like, anything, if there's a chance, if there's a 0.2% chance I'm going to get a laugh, I'm going to try it. Yeah.
All right. All right. So with the ending of Screamwalkers, I you kind of mentioned it a little bit a couple minutes ago. I With the way it ends, there's the possibility that this story can continue. And I love like an unfinished story ending, and that's
Yeah.
what this really gave, you
Yeah.
know. And so kind of, for a minute, if to allude on like if there is going to be a sequel, how far down the line, and do you have a story already in mind?
Yeah. Got a whole lot of whole lot of story. And it goes bonkers. Like, we're talking, it plays with time and space. And, there's a kind of sci-fi element, there's a fantasy element to this too. So there's definitely a fantasy horror angle. I love supernatural horror. That's like my favorite thing. So it goes heavily into that. Whether or not we get to do it, um, more people gotta see Screamwalkers to say if it's gonna happen. We would love to, but also there's like the aspect of like the franchise non-starter. Like I said, like Shocker never got a sequel.
Yeah.
It's I think it's cooler for that,
Oh,
so
yeah.
it's like, if we don't get to do them, I mean, I got the stories in my head. I can kind of, I can watch the sequels in my head. But if and more people see it, more people buy the Blu-ray on eBay, loaded Blu-ray. We got the DVD too. So if you can go to eBay
Oh,
and search Streamwalkers, you can get these. If more people get these, it tells us like people want more. They might want more. And I'd say it's more likely that you'll look out for a campaign that's going to start, not too far into the future, hopefully. Yeah. Oh, it's on videotape too, from Retro Release Video. So yeah, this is my
that's
moment
awesome.
to sell right now. So
Oh yeah.
Screenwalk is available on all formats and also streaming on Fossum TV.
Oh yeah.
Streaming on Fossum. Yeah.
Well, that leads us right into the next segue of go ahead and plug all your socials where we can reach you and
Yeah. Yeah. Well, first, buy a Blu-ray, buy a DVD on eBay. Go to eBay. Thank you, man. Josh, I'm gonna take over here. I got to do this.
go ahead.
Uh, yeah, they have special features. The Blu-ray's loaded with like a feature-length making of shit. So you can see how we shot it on home video and the effects behind the scenes, the cast and crew, the wonderful, amazing cast and crew. And streaming on Fossum, like I said, go watch it on Fossum for free. And yeah, we're on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, the whole deal. Just go to, look up Google Screamwalkers, and you'll see shit, lots of shit.
Uh, uh, well, this is the first time I've ever asked the director or anybody on my show there are moments where I do rent out theaters up here in Michigan or over here in Michigan because you're kind of to those. You're like my neighbor. uh, if by the chance that I can get it shown in a theater, I will definitely let you know.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh my God. Yeah, please. That's amazing. See, that's amazing. And that's one thing that I'm really pursuing now is more screenings, theatrical screenings. If anybody's got a horror society, like a film series that does, low to no budget horror, anything, cult programming. Yeah, anything you could do, that would be incredible. Josh, thank you. And
uh,
if anybody's interested in booking this movie, find me on find me on Instagram or Facebook, Sean Q King. Yeah.
uh, uh, so I did 2 years ago. There's a local company here called Wendigo Pictures. Not to plug any of their stuff here, I'm sorry.
Go
But
ahead. Plug away.
but we I met them, saw their movie, was like, all right, this is awesome. I was like, so my first foray into like kind of doing a showing at a theater was with their movie, and it sold out within. I think I booked it 3 months in advance. It sold out within 3 weeks.
Wow, man.
You
Awesome.
know, and then I did the same thing last year with another movie. It sold out, and I'm like, so the horror community here in Michigan is it's there.
Yeah.
So
That's amazing. I think it's like that in so many cities. It's so many places. And again, these are indies. Like we us as horror fans, we're always waiting for the next thing.
uh,
And we give a lot of things the benefit of the doubt. We got to go through a lot to find the gems. So,
oh yeah,
but that's fun too, going through the lot to get to the gems. Like we're really, really forgiving people. And I talk to people who are like, are from the outside and they look in and they're like, oh, that gory stuff. And what are you sick? You sickos? Are you all like psychos? And I'm like, honestly, if you talk to horror fans, they are like the sweetest, kindest, smartest people you'll ever meet. Like as far as fandom goes, and they're
uh,
outgoing, and we just want to have fun and stuff. And I'm like, talk to some horror fans. Ask them about this stuff. They're happy to giddy to talk about it. So
oh
I think once you give people an opportunity to see something new, something that they don't see all the time, they're going to respond like they have been with your screenings. That's awesome. And
yeah.
thank you for giving people that opportunity too, because that's rare.
All right. To be honest, I love independent. Like I love all movies. That's just who I am. We're gonna go over 15. We're gonna go over 15 minutes. That's fine though.
I could be here for hours, man. Yeah.
Okay. So being a fan, I mean, like this is just one wall. I mean, it's all
Yeah.
over.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Yep.
the independent scene in the last, I want to say since the right after COVID restrictions lifted, the independent scene started really skyrocketing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And like I can't even count how many movies I've seen that are on the independent scene that I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna go spend $30 at the show. I'm gonna rent this or buy this online, and then I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna enjoy it here.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
if I really enjoy it, even though I done bought it on streaming, now I'm gonna buy the physical copy because obviously I love physical media.
I'm gonna send you. We're gonna follow up. I'm gonna send you this.
Oh, that's
Yeah. Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But
But yeah, man. I mean, I got the same. I got my basement's a video store. There's posters. It's the same thing. Yeah. It's and the way that indies are going to survive, how they have been, is because of people like you. People who are like, I'm going to take a chance on this $25 Blu-ray because it's a handmade thing.
yeah.
Like I'm not going to buy. I like the Avengers movies. I love Endgame, but I'm not going to go buy the Blu-ray. I'll go buy an indie. I'll take a chance on an indie because I know where that money's going. I know that money's going directly to the producers so they can keep making more. For
Oh yeah.
better or for worse, they're going to keep making more. That's how this thing keeps going, man. It's just like the old drive-ins and the video stores.
Oh
In
yeah.
the video store days, the producers would just go to the vendor. They'd go to the video store like, hey, I made Boarding House. Would you put it on your shelf? Like it was, it's a very kind of transactional, merchant type of business.
Oh
And
yeah.
that's cool. That like, let's keep it that way. That's fantastic.
Oh yeah.
because it's
Speaking of
ours.
driving,
Keep it, we keep it as ours.
oh
That's
yeah,
what's cool about it.
oh yeah. Speaking of driving, I used to work at one for 13 years.
Oh my God, where? Oh,
Dearborn, Michigan, called the Ford Wyoming Drive-In.
oh man, how great was that?
It was awesome. I
Uh,
mean, I like. I'll have to send you a picture or something, but I have like the
it's,
speakers that they
yeah,
used to have on a speaker pole. They're hooked up in my man cave right now.
oh, that's wonderful. Oh my God, yeah, I mean, thank God there's still drive-ins. The Mahoning is like, in Pennsylvania is keeping like the keeping the tradition alive and keeping the spirit going.
Oh yeah.
And there's so many regional drive-ins. Like I don't know if that one's still there.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, see, like it's amazing that they're still there. It's so amazing. Like I grew up in video stores. I worked in multiple video stores in the '90s too. So
Oh
you
yeah.
know, so it was. I mean, there's a few of them around, but you got to make your own now.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I mean, just and having that education there too. Like I love all movies too. Like I take home a stack of movies from the video store. I'm sure you hung out. I worked in a movie theater. I would just, after I got off, I would just sneak into a movie. Is the education you get when you work at a drive-in, a movie theater, or a video store is film school. That
Oh
is
yeah.
film school, right?
Oh yeah. Uh so yeah, it's I don't want this to kind of become like weird with me saying everything about what I've done, but
Oh, I want to hear
I've
it. Come on.
I've worked at a drive-in, a movie theater, and I worked at like four. I worked at a Blockbuster, a Family Video,
Ah, cool.
and
Wow.
Movie Mania. But the thing about it is like I didn't. I mean, I like getting paid because that's how I make a living. But I did it for that's what I love. You know.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And I was having this conversation with my wife because she watches like Lifetime and Hallmark and all the happy fun stuff. So complete opposites. And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go watch Screamwalkers. She goes, didn't you watch it already? I was like, yeah, this is like the third time. Leave me alone.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's why you're gonna get a Blu-ray, and that's why we have Blu-rays. I mean,
Oh
especially with these indies, like that's the only way you're gonna see them.
yeah.
And like Hallmark Channel is probably gonna be there forever.
Yeah.
Disney
Yes.
Plus will be there for we could see those things. If
Oh
we
yeah.
wanted to watch Weekend at Bernie's, we can watch that anytime. But it's like if you wanted to watch Psycho Ape or Spirit Riser or something like that, it's like you have to own this thing.
Oh
It
yeah.
might end up on a streamer or something, but then it might be gone. What do you got there?
Mother Sucker.
Oh, mother. Okay, I heard about this.
Yeah. So
Worthwhile, yeah. Okay,
definitely worthwhile. But
okay,
I
cool.
mean,
Mother, it's on the list.
the kind of go off of what you said though. That's right. In order to see these independent films, you have to buy them. You know.
Yeah, yeah, and there's so many companies that are still going, like Agfa, Bleeding Skull, because of us, because they know they can make 3,000, 5,000 Blu-rays or 4Ks with a nice package and good extras, and they'll sell within a month or two. Like we will buy this stuff,
Oh yeah.
we will buy it just to say we have it, and just to
Oh,
say like nobody's taking this from me, like it's mine. You
oh
know,
yeah.
like from my cold dead hands, you will not get my copy.
uh, so there's three questions I want to ask you, and then we'll kind of wrap it up. What was your favorite thing that you have personally filmed out of all the projects you filmed?
Ooh, aside from Screamwalkers, obviously,
Yeah.
I got some short films on Vimeo you can watch. One of them is called Like Me Deadly. It's kind of a horror satire. It's funny, it's gory, it's scary. It's 9 minutes. I like that a lot. It's a pretty influencer girl in her underwear gets chased by psychos and killed. So that's always fun. Um, but I think that the number one thing is the Ghouligans, like I said before. Yeah, it's like hooligans but ghouligans. So you can GHOULIGANS. I did that with my best friends for 10 years. We traveled the country as the characters. If you go to YouTube and type in the Ghouligans, I mean, they were all over the socials too, but you can see all the videos on our YouTube channel. We had the time of our lives. We were like, hey, we want to make a sitcom. We want to be like, we love the Munsters, the Monkeys, Pee Wee's Playhouse, Scooby Doo. Like, we, like, my friends and I, my partners on the Gooligans, love that stuff. And nobody was doing like a live action cartoon, horror comedy cartoon. And we put it together with bubble gum and duct tape and a few paychecks, and you could watch it all on YouTube, and it's funny, it's ridiculous, and we had the time of our lives doing it. It was a 10-year blissful experience. And like I said, we have the videos that we can always go back to. So the Gooligans is probably, yeah, that's going to be the one. Yeah.
All right. Second question: what advice would you give to anyone wanting to break into any field of the entertainment business?
I think I said something similar to make your own opportunity. Um, but yeah, that would be it. You could spend a lot of time on movie TV sets and writing your scripts at home and showing them to people and making your short films and things. But if you're convinced that your idea and the way that you're going to do your idea is going to be rad and people are going to love it, do that thing no matter what. Raise the money, freaking, shovel snow, mow the lawn, whatever, like, do whatever you got to do. Raise the money, find the best people around you who want to do the same kind of thing. Help them do their thing, and then they'll help you do your thing. But just do that thing that you can't get out of your head, that you're convinced is going to be awesome. Find a way to do it. Show everybody. Be annoying. And go on shows like yours and talk about it. Like that. That's it. Because like the entertainment world changes so much every year, and as big and bloated as these dumb movies get, these Dwayne Johnson movies, these superhero things, like who the fuck is watching like Red One? Like, the movie cost like $300 million. Like, are people really watching this thing? How many damn freaking Screamwalkers we can make for $300 million? This movie costs $12,000.
Oh
And
yeah.
it's so much better than, I didn't see Red One, but I'm assuming it's better because but it's like, if you're convinced, like it's just like somebody with an invention, like, this is going to change the world. You got to go in with that kind of attitude. This is going to change the world. We're going to have fun doing it. There's no excuse not to now. I mean, everybody has everybody has this,
Yeah.
and then swing from the damn chandelier. Like, we did this, we made this mask without permission, and then we got permission. Not only permission, but now it's owned by the company that makes Ghostface. So it's like, you never know what the hell's gonna happen. Like, follow every damn opportunity. Tell everybody what you're doing. Get your movie out there. Make it.
Oh,
Get it out there. That's it.
oh yeah. And then the number one question I wanted to ask you is, and I've asked everybody this question on my show. If you can go back to when you were 10 and give yourself advice back then that you know now, what would that be?
What would that be? Make more stuff. Yeah, like, don't sleep on that idea. Find a way to do that thing. And work with people who are better than you. Yeah, that's what I would say. I would say, you think you're hot shit, but like, you think you're the best. There's people better than you down the block. Go find them, be friends with them, and then kind of like, have them work on your thing. Like, work with people who are better and smarter than you. That's what I would say. Yeah. And I'm lucky enough to have done that. Like, everybody who's way overqualified for Screamwalkers, and I'm just incredibly honored and that they helped out with it. So, and then I'll help them out. It's how indies work.
Yeah. Speaking of the casting, Sasha Graham was on a show not too long ago.
Oh, nice. Oh, cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
we were just hanging out last week. Sasha's great. See, Sasha's a scream queen, SOV scream queen from back in the day. Like, she's been in like 60 movies. So yeah, Sasha's freaking awesome, man. Yeah.
She actually, I'm weird. We have an NC-17 year end awards, and people actually get actual awards. We get awards made for them and
Oh
sent
no
out
shit.
to them. And
Nice.
she won last year Best Actress.
Oh, awesome. For what? What was it?
Uh, Trivial.
Oh, Trivial. Okay, the James Edward. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
But she's going to be up again this year. I can firmly tell you this because see, even though the movie came out last year, I didn't see it until this year. So Screamwalkers is going to be in a few categories this year.
Oh my God, man, that's awesome.
So
Yes.
it's I mean, we
All
throw
right.
in some Hollywood movies in there too. Like movie of the year last year was Deadpool and Wolverine because that was the only thing that was worthwhile,
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah,
at
yeah.
least in my opinion. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, there's not much. Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
much out there. They're
But
getting better though. Like this is a good year. Like a couple years ago, it was good, But
oh
and
yeah,
then you always have the Terrifier movies, which are like the kind of gold standard for indies now.
oh yeah.
But
As a
that's
matter,
amazing, man. That's oh my God, I'm
oh
touched.
yeah.
That's
But
awesome.
yeah, I just wanted to let you know that because so the my two co-hosts who happen to never be on the show, weird.
You
I
got
mean,
me.
you can see, yeah, it's weird, but they they watch the movies on their own, then we all get together and watch them together, and it's kind of like this is what we're going to do, this is what's going to be in this, so it's not just my own opinion. There's actually a group of people that sit here and talk about these movies.
As a committee.
Oh
Awesome.
yeah. But I can tell you right now, from what they've said, Screenwalkers is going to be up for movie of the year,
Wow, man.
cinematography of the year,
Really? Real
yep,
cinematography? Shut.
director,
What?
and actress and supporting actress.
Oh my God, man. Wow. That's
So
amazing. I'm speechless, man. That's amazing.
yeah. You are more than welcome to come on this show anytime you want. This you have a home with NC-17 at any time.
Oh man. Beautiful.
Uh, so everyone, we're getting ready to wrap up the show. Everyone, make sure you go on eBay, look up Screamwalkers, buy the DVD, the Blu-ray. Make sure you purchase it so we can get more Screamwalkers, or just
Yeah,
so
that's right. Yeah. You want to see more of this character here, cutting people up with the claw blade, the cat claws? Yeah, let's go.
uh, I'm not gonna
Josh,
lie.
thank
I would like to see him play with more balls of yarn, but no.
All right, well, we got plenty of cat gags planned. It's a ridiculous, a surprising amount of cat gags you can come up with this stuff, man.
Oh yeah. But I want to thank you, Sean, for coming on.
Thank you, Josh. This is fantastic, and thank you so much for appreciating the movie. It's
Oh yeah.
touched beyond belief. So thank you so much. And I'll talk to Bob Heckman too, because we're doing his picture next. I'm the cinematographer for Victim No More 2, his
Okay.
other movie. I shot the first one. We're shooting the second one. So yeah, maybe I'll jump on with him in the future, and we'll talk. We'll talk his movie, and maybe I'll have an update for Screamwalkers.
Sounds good. Yeah, I think he's going to be a guest next week. I think.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I got so many people booked.
I
You know,
know. I've been watching. Incredible. I don't. How do you sleep?
I don't. I mean, that's a long story though. Long story short, I suffer from insomnia, so I get like 2 hours of sleep every day anyway.
Oh shit, man. That's
You
rough.
know, but no, I appreciate you guys for coming on to the show, because without you guys, there would be no show. I mean, I'd be sitting here talking about, hey, how's it? You get what I'm saying. But
You're a
no,
fun guy.
so
You can keep it going. That's fine.
oh yeah. Well, I appreciate that. But no, this has been a blast. Didn't even seem like I was talking to anyone but a friend. So
Oh man, that's awesome. I feel the same way. Thank you so much, Josh.
oh,
That's
you're
awesome.
welcome. All right, everybody, until next time, stay NC-17 and buy those copies of Screamwalkers on eBay. If you don't, that's not fair to them.
Yeah, yeah. Don't fuck us. Come on, buy a Blu-ray. Let's go.
All right, everybody, stay NC-17.
Thank you.